Ever get that feeling, like time's messing with you a little? That been there, done that vibe, even though you know you haven't? Or when some trend you thought was gone for good pops up again?
Right, like it's back to haunt us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So today we're taking a deep dive into temporal echoes.
Mhm.
Basically, those little hints that maybe past, present, future, they're not as separate as we think. And wow, you guys sent in some really interesting stuff for this one.
Yeah, it's a real mix. We've got everything from those everyday weird time things to stuff that makes you question reality itself.
No kidding. So let's start with the echoes we can probably all relate to, right? Like how trends just keep coming back around.
Oh, tell me about it.
Remember when we thought bell-bottoms were gone for good? And now look, they're back. Makes you wonder, is it just us wanting things to be simpler, like a comfort thing? Or is there something more to it?
It's a good question. Because nostalgia, it's not just about liking old stuff, right? It's deeper than that. Often pops up when things are changing fast, uncertain.
Makes sense. Like when everything's chaotic, we cling to what we know, what felt safe.
Exactly. It's that feeling of stability, continuity. Like, okay, this I can handle, this I remember.
Right, like comfort food for the brain. That old book you loved as a kid, the song that takes you back. It's those echoes. But what about when it's not just our personal stuff, but like history itself seems to repeat?
You're talking about those historical cycles. Empires going up and down, same mistakes. Been debated for centuries, that one.
It's kind of freaky if you think about it. Like, are we really stuck in some giant pattern, doomed to repeat things?
Well, are we? Some say it's human nature, right? Our flaws, biases, they lead us down the same paths. Others say, nope, bigger forces at play. Societal, maybe even cosmic.
Whoa, okay. Getting kind of heavy there. But before we go too far down that rabbit hole, let's bring it back to something we've all felt. Déjà vu.
Oh yeah, everyone's favorite brain glitch.
Right. You're just going about your day, then bam, this feeling that you've lived this exact moment before, even though you know you haven't.
It's like our brains hit a rewind button for a sec.
Totally. Now, the sciencey folks say it's probably just a memory hiccup, right? Like your brain misfiles something happening now as something from the past.
Like accidentally saving a file in the wrong folder.
Yeah.
Happens to the best of us.
But even knowing that, there's that little part of you, right, that wonders if maybe, just maybe, it's a peek into some other timeline, some alternate reality.
A glitch in the matrix, right? Always fun to consider.
Exactly. And speaking of things that mess with our idea of time, let's talk about how the future is already shaping us today.
Oh, absolutely. It's like time is bending back on itself.
Think about it. Our phones, the internet, even the food we eat. It's all from stuff that was once considered, like sci-fi futuristic, but now it's just life.
That's technological determinism in action. This idea that tech, it's not just tools, it's a force. It shapes who we are, what we value, what we even think is possible. Look at the internet. Started as this niche thing for researchers and bam, revolutionized how we talk, do business, everything.
It's wild. And now, AI, quantum computers, biotech, we're practically building the plane as we're flying it, always catching up to the next big thing.
I'm trying to figure out where it'll take us.
And speaking of needing to think long term, climate change, that's a huge one. It's shaping decisions right now, everywhere, from how we build cities to how much energy we use, even down to what kids are learning in school.
Yeah, the predictions about climate change, they're already having a very real impact. It's not just some abstract future thing anymore. It's like, okay, this is happening and we have to deal with it in now.
Totally. It's shaping policies, investments, everything. It's like echoes from a future we don't even fully know yet, rippling back and changing how we act today.
Exactly. The future influencing the present.
And it's not just climate change, right? Think about money, the stock market, all those experts trying to predict what's going to happen. That's basically trying to see the future of money. And those predictions, they can make or break people.
Oh yeah, economic forecasting is fascinating. It's like how much of it is based on actual trends, data, and how much is like self-fulfilling prophecy.
Right. If everyone believes something's going to happen, do they accidentally make it happen because they act on that belief?
It really makes you think about the power of belief, the power of perception.
No kidding. It's like we're caught in this crazy dance between how we see the past, the present, the future, all these echoes bouncing back and forth. But hold on tight, folks, because we're got to go down a rabbit hole. We're talking about the really weird fringe theories of temporal echoes. Get ready. It's about to get strange.
This is where things get a little fuzzy, between the past and the present and the future. One of the big brain teasers in physics is this thing called quantum entanglement. And it hints at these connections that really make you scratch your head about how time and space really work.
Okay, yeah, this one always makes my head spin a little bit. It's like two particles, right? Even if they're like galaxies apart, they can somehow instantly mess with each other. How is that even possible? They got tiny little phone lines or something.
Kind of. Instead of talking, it's like they're linked up, their states are connected. Okay, so imagine two coins flipped at the exact same time. It wouldn't be that weird if they both landed on heads, right? But with these entangled particles, it's like one coin knows what the other one is doing before it even lands, even if they're like universes away.
So wait, if particles can be linked up across like forever distances, does that mean that something I do right now could have instant effects, not just here, but like across time too?
It's a possibility, and it challenges how we normally think about cause and effect, Like maybe everything is way more connected than we realize. It's almost like the universe is playing a much bigger, stranger game than we can see.
Okay, that is a mind-blowing thought.
Yeah.
Which kind of leads us to the butterfly effect, right? That's saying that something small can have huge consequences down the line.
Exactly.
But what's even crazier is thinking about that on a timeline scale. So like that tiny choice I made this morning, does that have echoes that go way into the future? Am I shaping things without even knowing it?
It's a trip, right? Because it's not just the immediate impact, it's the potential for those things to keep rippling out, making things happen that you could never predict. Think about it, the fact that we're sitting here having this conversation right now. It's because of countless decisions, big and small, that led to this moment. Each path we take, each one we don't, it's like a fork in the road of time,
Whoa, yeah, okay. So that parking space I didn't take this morning, that text I decided not to send.
Yeah.
Those all made me into the me that's talking to you right now.
In a way, yeah. But hey, it's not about putting all that pressure on every little thing you do, more like just understanding how connected it all is. Our present is made up of all those past moments, all woven together, and every choice is part of that pattern.
It really makes you appreciate the journey, doesn't it? But okay, before we get too zen about it, let's switch gears to a different kind of echo, something that gets passed down. I'm talking about epigenetics, this idea that like trauma can leave a mark not just on us, but on our kids, even grandkids, like it's in our genes somehow.
Yeah, it's super interesting research, and it kind of challenges how we used to think about inheritance. So epigenetic memory, this is the idea that stuff that happens to us, especially the intense stuff, the trauma, it can actually change how our genes work. And these changes, even though they don't mess with our DNA directly, they can get passed down. So it's like our ancestors are living inside us, their experiences echoing through our biology in ways we don't even fully get yet. That's kind of intense when you think about it. Definitely. It means that maybe we inherit more than just like our dad's nose or whatever. Maybe we inherit bits of their emotional stuff too, how they dealt with stress even. It throws a whole new light on that whole nature versus nurture debate, like maybe the past has a much stronger grip than we thought.
It's a lot to take in, right?
Yeah.
We've gone from faded genes to quantum entanglement to the legacy of trauma embedded in our cells. And believe it or not, we're about to go even further down the rabbit hole, ready to explore some concepts that'll really twist your brain up, the kind of stuff that makes you question the fabric of reality itself.
Let's do it. But be warned, folks, from this point on, we're diving into the deep end. We're talking about those what-if scenarios that really stretch the limits of how we understand time and existence.
Exactly. Like those late-night conversations with your weirdest friend, the ones that make you go, wait, what if everything we think is true isn't? So yeah, buckle up, because things are about to get really weird. You know that glitch in the matrix feeling we were talking about? Well, get ready to really jump down that rabbit hole, because here comes simulation theory.
This one's a doozy.
Right. It's like, what if everything, and I mean everything, is just some super advanced computer program? Makes you think.
Especially now, with how real video games are getting, virtual reality, it makes you wonder, what if our brains are just running on some cosmic computer somewhere?
Oh, and if that's true, then what does that even mean for, like, free will, or time itself? Are we all just code?
Okay, maybe I've seen The Matrix a few too many times.
Maybe, maybe not. But it does make you think. But okay, let's switch gears for a sec. What about parallel universes? Is there, like, a version of me out there somewhere who actually enjoys folding laundry?
Could be. The whole multiverse idea, it comes from physics, actually. The idea is that every little decision, every possibility, it branches off into a separate reality. So yeah, maybe in one, you're a laundry master, and in another,
I'm an astronaut. Rock star.
Hey, why not? The possibilities are endless, right?
Right. Okay, but seriously, though, if there are infinite versions of us out there living different lives, could we ever know for sure? Could those other versions, could we feel their echoes somehow?
Now, that's a fascinating thought. Some theories say those universes, they're not totally separate. Like maybe there are overlaps, tiny little bleed-throughs. Maybe that's where déjà vu comes from, or those weird coincidences that seem impossible.
So that dream I had where I won an Olympic medal, but for like competitive baking,
Yeah.
maybe that was just a peek into another reality where I'm a star baker. Okay, probably not. But what about prophetic dreams, the ones that feel real? Is there something to those, or are we just messing with ourselves?
Dreams are wild, right? Like, yeah, science says it's our brains sorting through stuff, memories, anxieties, all that. But then you have these dreams, these vivid ones, maybe even ones that seem to come true later. It makes you wonder, what if a part of us, our consciousness, is tapping into something beyond time?
Now we're getting to the really juicy stuff. It's like trying to understand something that's always just out of reach, you know?
That's the thing about these big questions, right? We're still figuring it out, still searching. But hey, that's part of the fun. We've covered so much ground, from those little echoes we feel every day, like déjà vu, to some truly wild stuff, retrocausality, the simulation, even the possibility that our consciousness exists outside of time itself.
We started with old James, and now my brain is officially fried. But in a good way. It's like we might not know if time is a straight line, a circle, or a pretzel, but we've definitely given everyone, including ourselves, a lot to think about. So what really stuck with you today? What echo is going to be bouncing around your head all week? Keep those thoughts swirling, and remember, when it comes to time and reality, sometimes the best we can do is keep asking questions. Thanks for joining us for another deep dive.